We have a shocking New York Yankees trade update that nobody saw coming at all going into this MLB trade deadline. Now, the Yankees do have good reason for the decision that they went out and decided to make. However, it definitely will have Yankee fans concerned about the future of this team and what the direction the Yankees do plan to be going in, and we are going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here. We're going to jump right into things as always. If you guys are part of that 75% that's not subscribed to Yankees Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily New York Yankees updates. We have a bunch of videos coming out as it is officially the trade deadline in that season, and there's a lot of moves to be made that the Yankees will be involved in, as they still have a lot more stuff to get done before the deadline passes on Thursday, July 31st. But let's jump into the video, guys. There's a lot to go over, as Brian Cashman has been diligent throughout this trade deadline. There's been a lot to look at so far, and now we're getting new reports of an absolutely shocking decision that the New York Yankees came to involving multiple fan favorite players this season that absolutely should have Yankee fans with a bit of concern. Now, diving right into those reports, it was revealed by Andy Martino, SNY Yankees insider, that the Yankees were floating some of their free agent to be relievers in preliminary trade talks. And since then, they also learned that through league sources, last week the Yankees brought up Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt in talks with at least one other club. Now, obviously, nobody saw that coming at all recently, especially with Cody Bellinger, who played like a borderline all-star, who really played like an all-star. If you look at these numbers, these are all-star numbers for Cody Bellinger. He's at 377 at-bats with 106 hits. That's a 281 batting average, while hitting 19 home runs, stealing 9 bases, being an excellent fielder in the outfield, whether it's center field, left field, right field. He's been moving around, and he's comfortable everywhere. He's got an OPS of 840, an OPS plus of 131, and a slugging percentage over 5. Cody Bellinger is having the best season that he's had since he won MVP with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the man has bounced back. When Juan Soto left the Yankees, Cody Bellinger was the guy that a lot of us, myself included, wanted, believing that he could have that bounce back on the Yankees, especially playing with a good deal of Aaron Judge protection, and that is exactly what has happened. Bellinger was good with the Chicago Cubs, don't get me wrong. He was batting with an average 750 OPS while also being an elite fielder, but now what we're seeing is this same guy be a great fielder and playing like a great hitter in the league right now, and he looks truly like an MLB All-Star. It really sucked that he didn't get it, because it felt like he did deserve it. He was certainly a snub, if you ask me. He's got a 3.1 WAR on the season, and Belly has been super efficient with the New York Yankees, especially lately. And when you consider the fact that he had a cold start, imagine if he didn't have that awful start to the season, what Bellinger's numbers would really look like now. Now, also on top of that, Paul Goldschmidt, he had a very hot start to the season and has cooled off since, but still been a solid player. He's got a 283 batting average. He's got 8 home runs. It feels like he's not really hitting for power right now, especially being a leadoff hitter at some points. A 760 OPS and a 112 OPS plus. He's still an above average hitter while also being a very solid fielding first baseman as well. Goldie has been a good staple for the Yankees this season as a veteran who is sort of a bridge guy between basically not having good shortstop play for a little bit after Anthony Rizzo started to fall off a bit, and then the evident starting first baseman shortstop for a bit, Ben Rice, and he could end up really becoming the long-term first baseman as well. And Paul Goldschmidt right now is this team's first baseman, but the Yankees floated trading both Goldie and Cody Bellinger, and that was in regards to the fact that the Yankees were scared that Aaron Judge was going to have to get Tommy John surgery. If Judge were to get Tommy John, there was a world where he could have came back this season and done the Bryce Harper thing, playing first base and still hitting, so you could still have that bat. But there was also a world that we wouldn't have seen Aaron Judge for a year, the way that happened with Jason Dominguez, and you don't want that to happen. So Cashman floated the idea of a very quick, hot rebuild where you sell off Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt and even someone like Devin Williams, who's also a free agent, to the highest bidder to get as many assets as back possible. So then when you want to try to contend next year, you have more assets to go all in on while also freeing your books up. And still, you could do what Brian Cashman and the Yankees did in 2016. Trade off guys who were good for your team. For instance, Aroldis Chapman, how the Yankees traded him to the Cubs and then brought him back a few months later after Chapman got the final out for the Cubs to win the 2016 World Series. Series. So the Yankees, they could have done something like that, but evidently they decided not to, as it was revealed that Judge would not be out with Tommy John surgery and that he would be back pretty soon. And Martino did discuss this whole situation, saying that it does not mean that the Yankees will trade Bellinger and or Goldschmidt. In fact, we'd still be very surprised, but the nugget is telling in its timing. The conversation happened last week when the Yankees were concerned that Aaron Judge would need season-ending elbow surgery. If that had happened, GM Brian Cashman might have gone to sell mode. They were probably laying groundwork just in case. This alone gives us another data point on how the front office might feel about its team. Judge did not need surgery, meaning that the season is still on. Technically, there are voices of encouraging Cashman to go all in before Thursday's trade deadline. In a weak American League, they could really still find themselves in the World Series, and honestly, I feel the exact same way. If I'm Brian Cashman, I'm going very deep in. I'm not saying you trade George Lombard Jr. You definitely don't trade George Lombard Jr. or Spencer Jones. You really do everything to not trade them unless it's just an offer that's too good to be true. And even still with Lombard, I really don't think you should, unless you're literally getting a different shortstop in return, because we know the deal with Anthony Volpe. But well, when it comes down to it, Brian Cashman will have to make that decision on his own. There's not much time left before the trade deadline, but the Yankees still do have all these hours to make a move, and that will have an impact on what the future of this team looks like. We see Devin Williams, who's had a complete bounce back after that terrible start to the season. Now, obviously, the ERA is still very elevated at a 4.58 when his career is a 2.23, and that's getting messed up by this year. He's got a WAR of 0.1 this season. Things are not going his way, but now his strikeout ball is back with 53 strikeouts in 39 innings and a whip of 1.093. Devin Williams' stuff is getting back to what we saw, and he's not always closing games, but he has been able to pitch in multiple different roles thus far. And Williams has a 1-1 record with an ERA of 2.33, 27 strikeouts, and 11 saves in 20 appearances in his last 20 games. For reference, Williams has pitched 43 games. So this is basically the second half of his season has been normal Devin Williams stuff. I mean, his average ERA for his career is a 2.23, and obviously discounting this year, it would have been lower, but still, we look at Devin Williams right now with a 2.33 ERA. Yeah, it's not exactly what he usually does, but it's still very, very close with 0.10% or 0.10 off what his career average is right now. So Williams is getting back to his normal self and is continuing to be hot. So the Yankees would have been able to sell him for a higher value than they initially would have, like a month, 2 months, even 3 months ago, like stuff like that. It would have been a bit different. Now the Yankees, they have the 11th ranked bullpen right now in the American, or in the MLB, and that's something that they do want to rectify. The reason they want to rectify that is not just because the top, majority teams are in the American League here that we're looking at, not all of them, but you look at a good amount of, I mean, for instance, the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Blue Jays, the Guardians, the Mariners, the Royals, the Rays, the White Sox, the Tigers, the Yankees. Like, when you look at the American League and all their pitching, the Yankees are 11th in the MLB, and then when you look at the top of the American League, the Yankees aren't even in the top echelon there. They're still not doing well, and that is a huge issue for this team. Something the Yankees desperately need to fix, if anything, not sell off of, now seeing that they are back, and I do think Cashman is going to start going in. I'm not going to say all in, but he's going to be going in. The Yankees aren't going to do anything to jeopardize a big free agency class going into next season. Will they re-sign Bellinger? Maybe. Obviously, it's not a done deal, and Bellinger will probably opt out after a great season, but we'll see what happens, guys. What do you guys want to see happen with this whole situation? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that would have been a good idea if Judge was injured? I think if he was injured, then hell yeah, you absolutely do it. I'm happy they're not going to do that, or look like they're not going to do that. They should not sell right now. Try to get Aaron Judge that World Series ring. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Go Yankees.